In air combat, survival is counted in seconds. Victories are measured in a single pull of a trigger, a turn sharper than the opponent expected, or one missile, so precise, so aware, so agile, that an enemy aircraft has already lost before it even knows it's being targeted. Today, we unveil one of the most advanced short-range air-to-air missiles ever developed, a weapon that doesn't just chase heat, it thinks. It sees through your helmet, and it can strike targets even behind the launch aircraft. This is the AIM-9X Block II, the latest evolution of the legendary Sidewinder family, a missile that took a 1950s dogfighting relic and transformed it into a modern, network-ready, high-off-boresight, smart-guided killer. Welcome to Armory Unveiled. The story of the AIM-9X Block II does not begin in the labs of Raytheon. It begins over 70 years ago with a question. Can we make a missile that simply follows heat? The original AIM-9B Sidewinder, developed in the early 1950s, was almost poetic in its simplicity. No complex radars, no elaborate targeting computers, just an infrared seeker that would lock on to the heat signature of a jet exhaust. It first proved itself in 1958 when a Taiwanese F-86 Sabre shot down a Chinese MiG-17. A single missile, a new era. For decades, Sidewinders evolved. AIM-9D, better cooling. AIM-9G, improved seeker. AIM-9H, refined reliability. AIM-9L, the first true all-aspect missile capable of attacking from the front. AIM-9M, increased resistance against flares. And then, the battlefield changed. Close-range dogfights weren't about chasing engines anymore. Pilots needed to fire off-axis without having to nose the aircraft toward the target. The Soviet Union unveiled a surprise in the 1980s, the R-73, with a high-off-boresight seeker and a helmet sight. Western pilots suddenly found themselves outmatched in a turning fight. So the United States answered, and the answer was the AIM-9X. Entered service in 2003, the AIM-9X wasn't just another upgrade. It was a new missile, wearing the Sidewinder name. Key changes: imaging infrared seeker, a camera-like sensor that identifies shapes, not just heat. Thrust vectoring, miniature exhaust vanes to steer the missile instantly. High-off-boresight launch capability, fire at targets not even in front of you. High agility, capable of extreme turn rates in post-launch maneuvering. Helmet-mounted cueing, the pilot just looks at the target to lock on. This was not just a missile. It was a hunting weapon. And it was fast, silent, and incredibly deceptive compared to radar missiles. But as electronic warfare increased, as flares evolved, as stealth aircraft entered the battlefield, the U.S. needed a Sidewinder that could do more than chase heat. It needed to think. Released publicly in 2015, the AIM-9X Block II marked a leap forward. This wasn't simply AIM-9X, but better. It added 3 core capabilities that changed the entire job description of the missile. 1. Lock-on after launch. The missile no longer needs to see the target at launch. It can be fired first, then acquire the target mid-flight. This allows launching at targets hidden behind the aircraft nose, launching at targets outside visual range, firing from internal weapon bays of stealth aircraft like the F-22 and F-35. 2. Two-way datalink. The missile stays connected to the launching aircraft or battle network mid-flight. It receives updates, rerouting orders, and new target data in real time. 3. Improved guidance and software. Enhanced autonomy. Better counter-flare logic. Superior tracking in cluttered or deceptive environments. The missile was no longer a fire-and-hope weapon. It became a cooperative hunter. Let's break down the weapon's core subsystems. Seeker head, imaging infrared. Not just a sensor for heat, it forms a thermal image of the target. It can distinguish engine exhaust, wing shape, tail configuration, even the difference between an aircraft and a flare. This is why flares are often useless. Thrust vector control. 4 exhaust vanes redirect rocket thrust mid-burn. This gives the missile instant turn authority. Picture a missile that can practically pivot in the air, like a predator breaking its own bones to twist and strike. High-off-boresight targeting. By using a helmet-mounted display, such as JHMCS on F-15, F-16, Scorpion HMD on various platforms, or F-35's integrated HMDS, the pilot just looks at the target. The missile locks. The trigger finishes the kill. No nose pointing required. Lock-on after launch. The missile leaves the rail without a target lock. It coasts, receives target position via datalink, turns and acquires. This allows rear hemisphere shots, even behind the pilot. This is why the AIM-9X Block II is often referred to as the missile that sees behind the pilot. It is deployed across F-15C Eagle, F-15EX Eagle II, F-16CD Fighting Falcon, F-18CD Hornet, F-18EF Super Hornet, E-18G Growler, F-22 Raptor, F-35 Lightning II, AV-8B Harrier, U.S. Navy surface vessels with launch-adapted versions, and ground-based NASAMS air defense batteries. The AIM-9X Block II has gone beyond a fighter missile. It is now a multi-domain interceptor. The AIM-9X has engaged Syrian Su-22 2017, Iranian drones in the Persian Gulf, Houthi drones over the Red Sea, airborne intrusions around the U.S. and allied airspace. The missile has proven high kill probability, resistance to countermeasures, precision guidance even against small drones. In modern warfare, drones are cheap. Aircraft are not. The AIM-9X Block II provides a cost-effective interceptor for both. Even excellence has boundaries. Short effective range relative to AIM-RAM. Still vulnerable to extreme IR masking techniques. Requires network integration for maximum lock-on after-launch performance. Cost around $472,000 per missile. It is not a replacement for beyond visual range weapons. It is the final word in the knife fight. The next step is already in development. Block 3 enhancements, plus 60% range, better resistance to directed energy countermeasures, improved motor performance, even smarter target recognition. The Sidewinder is evolving again. Still the quiet killer. Still the dogfight's final judge. The AIM-9X Block II is more than missile evolution. It is a symbol of how air combat has changed, from chasing heat to interpreting images, from pointing the aircraft to just pointing your eyes, from fire and forget to fire and command. In a sky full of deception, electronic warfare, stealth technology, and high-speed maneuvering, it is not the loudest weapon that wins. It is the one that sees, thinks, and strikes first. This has been Armory Unveiled. Subscribe for more deep-dive analysis into the weapons shaping the world's skies, seas, and battlefields. Until next time, stay sharp, stay aware, and remember, information wins wars.